Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this masterclass explainer on commercial gym wall design and installation. If you're a gym owner, a facility manager, or frankly, anyone involved in commercial real estate, you already know how insanely competitive the fitness landscape is. But what you might not realize is that the ultimate secret weapon for member retention and brand identity is quite literally staring you in the face. Today, we're going to look at the exact strategies and the cutting-edge tech being used by the pros to transform blank walls into massive assets for your facility.
Here's our roadmap for today's consultation. 1. Transforming your gym space. 2. High-impact murals and where they actually belong. 3. The direct-to-wall technical difference. And 4. Exactly how to avoid those costly installation mistakes.
All right, Section 1. Transforming your gym space. The vision for your facility. So let's start with the big picture. I want you to really stop and think about this for a second. What does your gym wall currently say about your brand? Because a blank gym wall is frankly a massive missed opportunity. It's prime real estate that should be working for you 24/7. If it's just a giant expanse of white or gray paint, it's saying absolutely nothing. It's failing to engage, failing to motivate, and most importantly, it is failing to make your facility memorable. Boring spaces simply do not retain modern fitness members. They're looking for an experience. The source material we're analyzing today hits the nail on the head. It says the right mural sets the energy the second a member walks in. And honestly, it goes way deeper than just a vibe. Great murals give your members something to photograph. In the age of social media, your members are your absolute best marketers, right? Providing a stunning backdrop makes your facility a place worth returning to and definitely worth posting about. Moving on to Section 2. 10 high-impact mural designs. Strategic zoning. So how do we actually execute this in the real world? Well, as experts in space planning, we know that we aren't just slapping paint randomly on a wall. We are strategically zoning. We intentionally match psychological concepts to specific facility zones to maximize the member experience. Now, what's really interesting about this is the psychological impact of these specific pairings. Take a look at the nature scene in a cardio or yoga studio. Studies consistently show that nature imagery actually lowers a person's perceived exertion during a workout. You are literally making their run feel easier by giving them a forest path or a mountain trail to look at. Meanwhile, a bold statement like "earn it" on the main training floor anchors that heavy lifting energy. A legacy wall with past champions in the hallway? That makes your longtime members feel deeply recognized and valued. And those high-contrast athlete silhouettes in a sports-specific studio instantly signal to anyone walking in that this is a place for serious, focused training. Now, for those of you managing massive facilities, you have got to think about navigation. Large graphics acting as wayfinding to mark out your cardio, weights, stretching, and recovery zones, that organizes the chaos. It elevates the space. It makes the floor feel highly intentional and premium, rather than just some big warehouse where equipment was sort of thrown together. But on the flip side, if you run a CrossFit box or a boutique studio, super corporate design might actually alienate your members. A street art style graphic gives the space this raw, expressive, urban community feel. In fact, these bold, edgy designs almost always become the most photographed wall in the entire building. It's organic marketing at its absolute finest. Let's jump into Section 3, the direct-to-wall difference, the technical reality. Look, having a killer design is only half the battle. To be a true expert in this space, you've got to know your installation methods and exactly how to avoid inferior techniques that'll end up costing you thousands in repairs down the line. The gold standard for commercial facilities right now is direct-to-wall printing. It's exactly what it sounds like, high-resolution printing straight onto your wall. There is no vinyl film, there is zero adhesive, there are no seams. The ink actually bonds directly into the wall itself, which is absolutely critical for a high-sweat, humid gym environment. So the crucial point is the contrast between direct-to-wall technology and traditional vinyl wraps. Think about it. Vinyl wraps are basically just massive stickers. In a gym, humidity and sweat are absolutely going to attack those vinyl seams, and eventually they will peel. When you try to remove them, they leave this sticky adhesive residue everywhere and create a massive amount of plastic waste. Direct-to-wall, however, gives you this flush, wipe-clean surface that is completely sweat-resistant. This is exactly why serious commercial clients always choose direct-to-wall over peeling vinyl wraps. Now, I know some of you might be wondering, well, what about just hiring a local artist to hand-paint it? And sure, hand-painted murals are undeniably unique, but from a commercial real estate and business operations standpoint, they are incredibly slow, They are nearly impossible to scale if you're opening multiple locations, and you're entirely dependent on one person's schedule and skill level. For a fast, professional commercial project, it's just not the right fit.
Okay, on to our final section, Section 4, Avoiding Costly Installation Mistakes. This is your insider playbook.
I want to put on my consultant hat right now and give you the absolute playbook to protect yourself from bad hires, scammy installers, and blown budgets. If you're hiring an installer, these are the massive industry red flags you have to watch out for. First, if they refuse to show you it to scale proof before printing, walk away. Second, if they give you vague answers when you ask if it's vinyl or direct-to-wall, they do not have the premium equipment. Third, ask for commercial references. An installer who has only done residential bedrooms is absolutely not equipped to handle the logistics of a busy hospital lobby or a massive commercial gym. Fourth, if they quote you a firm price without ever stepping foot on your site, that is a guess, not a quote. And finally, if they claim they need weeks of off-site fabrication lead time, they just aren't using modern mobile technology.
Because the truth is, a true professional single-wall installation should actually take less than 5 hours. Yeah, you heard that correctly, under 5 hours for a massive, seamless, high-resolution mural. No way, right? But it's true.
And the reason it's so fast is that the experts use a mobile setup that brings the printer directly to your gym. Furthermore, they use specialized low-odor inks that have literally zero curing time. This means you can schedule the installation for off-peak hours or overnight. You don't have to close your gym, you don't lose a single business hour, and your members are completely unaffected. They literally go home one evening and walk into a totally transformed gym the very next morning.
And this brilliantly illustrates what transparent professional pricing actually looks like. A reliable pro won't give you shifting, vague range. According to the data, a standard benchmark is a base setup fee of around $3,500. Then it's typically $30 per square foot for the first 250 square feet. But here's the insider knowledge you need. As the project scales up, economies of scale kick in, and that price drops to as low as $15 per square foot for larger walls. You should always expect this exact level of mathematical transparency.
Before we wrap up, I really want to reiterate the golden rule of commercial mural installation. Always, always demand a 2-scale proof using your exact brand colors before a single drop of ink hits the wall. Your logo, your corporate identity, those exact hex codes, these are non-negotiable. The modern printing technology we've discussed today can match your identity precisely, and you have every right to see it proven out before the machine turns on.
So, I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought to consider the next time you walk out onto your training floor. Are your gym's walls building your community, anchoring your energy, and driving retention? Or are they just holding up the ceiling? It is time to rethink your commercial space and make every single square inch work for your brand. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will catch you on the next one.